Instagram. We are live for this week's Pathway to Purpose conversation. Give it a minute to see if anybody's jumping in live with me. Otherwise, if you catch the replay, let me know if you've any questions on the topic of purpose. So Pathway to Purpose is, if you haven't caught it before, it is where I have conversations with people. This is the third installment of it. I have conversations with inspiring people who are fully living into their purpose. And I got the hit of inspiration to do Pathway to Purpose. So we're in the third week, so three weeks ago. And I straight away, I got the download to do it on Thursday. I straight away reached out to my friend Shule. If you haven't caught the episode with her, go back and watch that episode. Reached out to Shule and Nadia, who were my first guests, and they were amazing. And you can go back and you can watch them, and I encourage you to do so that you can see how they are living into their purpose, what purpose is to them. Today a few days ago I decided that I wanted to jump on in here, and I love myself. You have to let me know your name. I decided that while I was having those conversations with other people, I decided I wanted to have a conversation here myself about my path to purpose and my what purpose is to me. Because I love having these conversations with other people, and I have some exciting guests lined up. I'm really, really excited. I have somebody amazing lined up for next week. I have to schedule some other ones, but you're back. I hope we're back. I think we're back. So I've amazing guests lined up, which I'm really excited about. However, I just wanted to jump in here and actually give a conversation or have a conversation here with what purpose is to me, what led me here. And then we can fully get into the other conversations that I'm having with other people, because they're really, really exciting and really, really inspiring people that I'm having here. So what does purpose mean to me? And you can let me know what purpose means to you, because people's purpose means so many different things. And I think the biggest misconception is people think that purpose is like one thing to them. And I think that I thought that at the beginning, and I really realized it when I was doing a lot of readings, when people would come to me and they'd want to know their purpose and their path. And it's amazing for me to provide insight and guidance, but your purpose on this earth is really to know thyself as the creator, to know thyself through creation itself. We came here to create. And while the world of manifestation is amazing, but we're always manifesting things. But it's like, do you want to consciously create the life that you're choosing to live? And really, purpose is so much more about like your role here. It's about who you be, because we all incarnated here with different desires. And a lot of people think that, no, we all have the same desires. A lot of people think, oh, well, I want the partnership and I want the business and I want to be doing this. And it's like, no, we all have so many different desires and passions. My passions are not the same as your passions. You know, it's like, why can't we explain why some person is really into sports, some person is really into art, some person is really into music? We all came here with different passions. My passion happened to be and I'll get into my pathway here, my passion ended up being about personal development, which I never in a bazillion years, which really it wasn't really about personal development. It was about getting to know thyself, getting to know myself. When you start uncovering your passions, you do this. Or when you start uncovering your purpose, you do this through being led through your passions. Not all of us came here with the same desires. We really, really didn't. And the biggest illusion that you can think is that, oh, everybody wants to do the same thing. They don't want to do the same things. We don't want to do the same things. We can think that we do. Well, we want to do the same thing, which is to know ourselves as connected to source, to know ourselves as connected to each other. What we're actually seeking is unity consciousness. When you think of it, unity consciousness is just that oneness, it's that wholeness. When we're not feeling that unity within ourselves, we're feeling like we're in lack. We're feeling like we're in separation. And what do we do when we come into this place of lack? We try to seek outside of ourselves. We seek outside of ourselves and we keep going. And this is why God gives us desires, because when we move towards those things that we want to manifest in our life, we're thinking that we're thinking that they can give us a certain feeling, but it's actually the fullness that's already within us. And Annette, you can let me know if you caught the activation yesterday yet, because it was so good and it was all tying into this piece in the activation portal. For anybody else that's wondering, we're in the month of detachment. And the only reason why we're attached to certain things is because we want to feel some sort of fullness within here. But it already exists within here. It already exists underneath the illusion of separation, underneath the illusion of the ego. The ego's one purpose is to keep you in separation. So us coming into our purpose is to know thyself as full, to know thyself as unity, as God, the creator. It's been within us. We'll catch up tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Amazing. Oh, it must be so late for you. I know that you'll find it in the exact perfect timing for you, but it was such an amazing one. It was so deep, because the only reason we would ever attach to something is if we felt that we are not full within ourselves. And that is what I believe purpose is: to know thyself as fullness, to know thyself as one with everything here. It took me a while to get here, to uncover these truths. It took me a long time to get here. But this is what your purpose is. It's about following the breadcrumbs that life offers you. You don't have to go out searching. So many people are on a deep quest of like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? And even as I say that, because I know sometimes when people come to me for readings, they're searching for something that they think is going to fulfill them outside of themselves. But it's never about what is outside of you. It's what's already within you. And for me, and if you've been around here for a while, and I know you know my story, but we'll just go into it. My path here has been about, I think the biggest catalyst for my growth was a breakup. I went through a breakup. And at the time of the breakup, I think even prior to the breakup, I remember just never feeling great. But the relationship hadn't been going well for a couple of years. And I remember even a friend of mine giving me a CD, a meditation CD. And it was a 20-minute CD. And I remember putting it on and crying the entire way through the CD. And that's when I decided meditation is not for me. And I was like, that's just awful. And I remember coming out to my then partner and being like, that is awful. Like, I just cried the entire way through that. There is like that is not peaceful. And I thought then that's why meditation wasn't for me. And I think I started like getting more curious. I remember watching a Tony Robbins documentary. I think I was definitely dipping my toe in the wellness pool, but I wasn't really delving deep into it. And it wasn't until I actually had gone to therapy when I was in university. I remember just having like seasons of just crying, endless crying, just not knowing what was actually wrong with me. I had a lot of issues growing up to do with my weight. I was really, really skinny growing up, gotten slagged about being skinny. And then I went to college, fresher 15, put on a load of weight. Then my family thought that I was depressed because I had put on a load of weight, but it was actually like, why had I put on a load of weight? Why was I drinking so much? Why was I doing all these things? It was like, trying to fill a hole within me, trying to fill a void within me. But it wasn't until I went through that breakup, hi Michelle, that I felt like the rug was pulled from underneath me. When this rug was pulled from underneath me, I had no choice but to do the work. I had no choice because there was so much pain, so much suffering that was going on for me that I had no choice but to go deeper inwards. I started going to, how are you? Feels like it's been a while. I went to therapy and nothing was really shifting, nothing was moving. And I feel like for a whole year or 2 years, I was just treading water. I was just staying alive and I didn't really want to stay alive. It was just like, and this is trigger alert, but this was my pathway to purpose. Everybody has their own pathway. And I'm still living into my purpose. I've no doubt my purpose is still going to unfold more and more and more as I get to know myself more and more. But for those couple of years, it just felt like I was in survival mode. I was in survival mode, just trying to exist, trying to feel a little bit better. And I did not really feel a lot better at all. And I remember a couple of years passing and then going to a new therapist, and we started getting deep into inner child connection. We started going deep into childhood trauma. And that for me was so powerful, because before that, I think a lot of what I was going through was like just trying to survive the situation, just trying to figure out my whole life. Because for 2 years, my ex kept coming in and out of my life. So it was literally like, are we getting back together? Are we not? So it was all the drama of that. I thought that my life, once we get back together, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be perfect. I was very delusional in that. But I had felt that like maybe if we get back together and we just get back to how we were in the beginning, then everything's going to be perfect and everything will be fine. Thank God that didn't happen. But then after, like, this one therapist was like, I want you to find yourself almost like a hobby. And I was like, I didn't want a hobby. You know, when you're miserable, you're like, I don't want a hobby. I was like, I just want to sit here and be miserable. No, I really didn't. But it was like, I was in a season where, you know, mid-30s, my friends were having babies, they were getting married, they were, you know, building houses. They were busy with their lives. And oftentimes they didn't have a lot of time for me. You know, it was like, on a weekend, it might be like I'd have arranged to meet somebody for a coffee, and if their child was sick, they had to cancel on me, and rightly so. But it was like, then it was a weekend of being on my own. An entire weekend of being on my own, entire weekend of sitting in my own discomfort. I hated when weekends came. I used to like walk from, and this isn't a woe's me story. This is like, I can't believe these stories are even coming up, because I didn't really think of what I was going to speak about. But I remember, I used to walk on a Friday evening from a job that I didn't really like, but I used to walk to my car and like be like, am I going to get to my car on time before I start crying? Like, am I going to get here? And all I could think about was like, how am I going to survive this weekend? This is another weekend of doing nothing. And then there was weekends that I went out. Sure, I did have friends, we did do things, but it was like, there would be one thing on the weekend, and if somebody cancelled on me, it was like, what the hell? Like, it was a lot of time on my own. And I look back in hindsight and I know why I had to be on my own. I wouldn't have done this level of deep inner work if I had distractions around me. So I'm so grateful. I hold value to that time of sitting in the discomfort. It was not easy, but it was part of my path. So when my therapist started saying to me, come on, like, just do something, join a walking club, a dancing club, whatever. I was like, I don't want to do any of those things. The only thing that gave me some ease at the time was listening to podcasts, reading books. So I was like, okay, what do all these people have in common? And a lot of them were actually coaches. So I was like, hey, maybe I can do a coaching certification. So I got the wheels in motion for that. Ended up getting my work to pay for my certification, which was wild to me that I was doing a coaching certification when I was deeply depressed. It was wild. And at that time, before, I remember going to rapid transformational therapy, which is a form of hypnotherapy, to get rid of my anxiety. And when I say get rid of my anxiety, it got rid of my anxiety. It's not to say I don't have like moments of anxiety, or like, it's more like fear that comes up in me now. But I didn't realize after that, I knew that I had anxiety, but I didn't realize that I went through those few years of living with anxiety most of the time, like 24/7. Like, when I wasn't asleep, I didn't, or when I was asleep, I didn't have it. But it was like that thing, the minute I woke up, like I had that second of like, things are okay. And then I remembered that I wasn't with my ex, that my life was in shit, and I was like, and then it would come in, and fear would come in, and fear would consume me for my day. I didn't realize how severe it was until it left my body. And when it left my body, I was like, oh my goodness, this is how you're supposed to feel? Oh my goodness. And I'm not saying that I felt like 100%, because I still had depression, but I'm like, oh my God, the anxiety is gone. Like, what the hell? And from there, I did the coaching certification, which was amazing, which was part of my healing, because when we do certifications like this, when we do any courses like this, we're getting to access more and more of ourselves. We're having to do the work as well inside, because not only are we coaching, we're doing like in those spaces, I had to coach people, but people had to coach me. We had to do peer-to-peer coaching, which was very healing in itself then. After that, I think I did a business course then, and I think COVID hit then. Boom, when COVID hit, I think everything changed for everybody. But this was my time. This was literally the depth of work that I got to do in COVID was insane, because we had so much time and spaciousness. And I signed up to do another business course, but it was a spiritual business course. It was learning business through the chakra system. I was getting deeper into meditation. I started, meditation for me, I kind of skipped that bit. I said it did a 20-minute CD, and then I got deeper into meditation. Meditation for me, I went to this wellness workshop, and they started saying break down your meditations into 1 minute sessions. And I started doing that, and then I started building it up to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But I was always doing guided meditations. So this COVID was around a time that I started getting into meditations that were just more listening to music, and I started connecting with angels, and I started having more profound experiences. And I didn't realize at the time that the books that I was reading were actually more spiritual rather than personal development. I didn't read it. And this is why Pathway to Purpose, when this name came through, it felt like it was so perfect, because Pathway to Purpose is not about oh my God, I found my purpose. It is about the path. It is about these little breadcrumbs that lead you to exactly where you're meant to be. It's about listening to those little nudges. So after that course, I did a manifestation course, which I freaking loved. And then at that time, I heard a podcast. I heard a woman on a podcast who taught people how to read energy. And I had gone to an intuitive a few times, had a few tarot card readings in my time, but I never, ever, ever dreamed of being an intuitive or reading energy or doing anything like that. Never. It was actually interesting because somebody reached out to me about that course in my DMs and asked me, will this work? I don't have any experience. And I'm like, I did not have any experience. I went into that course completely blind. When I heard that woman on the podcast, I was like, I need to work with her. When I went on her website, there was, she had soul mentors on the website. As soon as I went onto that website, I'm getting chills right now. I went, I'm going to be on that way. I'm going to be one of those mentors. I had no idea, and I had no interest in reading energy. I had no interest in connecting with the spirit guide. I had no interest in doing any of that sort of nonsense. And yet I signed up to the course. I signed up to the course when everything was telling me not to sign up to the course. Everything in my mind, because I didn't have the time. I was doing the manifestation course. I was doing another certification in coaching. I was in my 9-to-5. I was also coaching other people. I was trying to get my Instagram more up and running. I was doing a lot of things. It was a big investment. It was $3,000. I wasn't ready because I was like, I don't want to read energy. So all the things my mind was saying, no. Well, my body, something within my body was like, this is what you need to do. And I trusted that. And I took that leap. And for the first few weeks in that program, I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. I was with the most talented people. I was with people that had been reading energy for a long time. I was with Reiki practitioners. I was with people that were so deeply connected with their spirit guides that had already journeyed to the Akashic Records. They were doing this stuff for years. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Newbie over here. Can't freaking connect to my spirit guides. What the hell am I doing? And I was like, the exam at the end of the month is a 1-to-1 space with the teacher. And I remember thinking, okay, when I go into the exam, I'm just going to tell her flat out, I can't. Clearly I'm not getting this. I'd say by about week 3, something clicked for me. And I was like, oh my God, I am home. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I can read energy. Oh my God, I'm good at this. I'm good at something. Wow. So it just goes to show you that when your intuition speaks to you, listen to it, because it's going to guide you into the unknown, like where you are never going to like, believe where you're at. Like, I still have visions of myself, because myself and the girls in my course, we used to like practice with each other. I have visions of myself in my garden and like roaring, laughing, like, because we were doing past life healings, and we'd be like, oh my God, this is so insane. Like, we're doing this is crazy. This stuff is crazy, because this 3D reality, all of this form, it's all an illusion. And the human mind can't comprehend that. But when we're working in energy, when we're reading energy, where we can read energy because we're connected to one another. We're all connected to source, therefore we're all connected to one another. If you get an intuitive hit to do a program, to take inspired action, to work with a mentor, trust that it's going to lead you to where you desire to be. Not where your human desires to be, but where your soul desires to be. And where your soul desires to be is that place of deep fulfillment. Because if I chose to lean into fear, I'm like, I don't know if I would have learned how to read energy. I don't know. I'm sure I still would have been in the coaching space, but the level of deep fulfillment that I get from doing this energy work with people is insane, because I see the transformations that happen, and it happens so freaking quickly. It happens so quickly. And that's because we're working with the magic of energy. I'm working with your soul. From there, about a few months later, I ended up being on that website. I ended up being a soul mentor, so mentoring people inside the next few rounds of that program, which is wild, because I was like, how did I go into a class feeling like I'm at the bottom to within 6 months being a mentor in that space? Like, it was just like, what the hell? Your intuition is leading you to these things always. And from that point forward, I went, wow, I took one of the biggest leaps in my life, and it turned out to be the best freaking thing ever. And that's why I want to bring these conversations to you in Pathway to Purpose, so that you can hear these other people say these exact same things. I took the leap, I trusted my intuition, and it led me to where I wanted to be. So after that, I started working. I was doing energy readings at the time and healings. I brought in the healings with the readings, which were so amazing. I just love bringing the two of them together, which I still do. I still do an alignment reading and activation, and it's freaking so powerful. Like, it's so powerful. I can't even describe how powerful it is, because we're clearing things at a quantum level. Oftentimes when people come to readings with me, what they're actually so surprised with is how intuitive they are, how much they already know. And it's like as if the ego doesn't want to let them admit it to themselves. And then when we do the activation, I bring you on a journey so that you can see some of these things for yourself. Then I think after that, like, I just kept going. I kept following my intuition. I kept working with more coaches, more mentors. I brought out my first program. Very soon after bringing out my first program, I got the intuitive hit that this was to be a group program. I did my first group program, and it was like such an insane, like, it was insane. It transformed those people's lives. And it's like, oh my goodness, like, to be able to do that, to be able to sit with a group of people and actually transform their lives is just completely wild. I just kept going. I kept following the nudges to doing that first group program as Expand, which I'm in a launch of right now. We're starting it in just a couple of weeks, and I can fill you in a little bit more on that afterwards. It is a life-changing journey. Like, everyone that's done it is literally like mind blown. And that's, if you read the testimonials, they're like, you can't, there are no words for this program, because you're connecting with your soul. There are no words. You have to experience it. Like, I did that program. Then I did another program, Attract, which is about calling in your soul aligned person. If you're in a space right now that you're wondering, oh, like, Attract, I would have liked to have done Attract, call in my soul aligned person, but Expand speaks to you, go with Expand, because Expand is going to bring you into everything. It's going to get you to that place of calling in your soul aligned person. The Attract journey is a shorter journey, and it's just about love, whereas Expand is about like a deeper sense of purpose as well, because I know so many people are like wanting to like live into their purpose. Both are such powerful transformational journeys, but it's Expand, we go so deep into your soul. It's bigger than just love, but we do talk about love as well in it, because it's natural too. With my journey, it's like, of course we'd be talking about love in it. So after doing those programs, I think then I did my mentorship, and all of these just came to me so naturally. It wasn't like really thinking in a strategy, okay, what'll I do? My mentorship came to me after a meditation while I was having a conversation prior to that with my mentor about how amazing my activations are, how transformational people are finding them. And she was like, would you ever do a mentorship? And I was like, I don't know, I'll think about it. And then in a meditation, the name came through and I was like, okay, wow, I'm just going to go with this. When you're so deeply connected to this part of you, to the soul part of you, these ideas and these inspirations come in. They come in because you're living so open-heartedly. You're living out of the mind and into a place of truth. When you're living in the place of truth, the universe is always delivering these little breadcrumbs to you. If you are wanting to create anything in this life, it is about getting out of the mind, getting out of the delusion and coming back to your place of center. Everything unfolds from there. When you're in your place of center, you're in a place of fullness, you're in a place of truth, because the only thing that's existing right here and right now is love and abundance. The lack, the distortion, the fear, that is the illusion. And I know that it can feel so real within the body. It can feel so real. And that's why my work is so deep about giving you tools and doing this deep healing work so that you can know how to move that fear from your body, know how to move it from your energy field. And when you do that and you come into the truth, freaking unstoppable. You want to live so deeply into your purpose. Does anybody have any questions, or how is this landing for you? I want to see. I feel like I've just gone from doing my course and then almost skipping the last 2 to 3 years. My part of my purpose has been also is this big detachment piece of detaching how life is supposed to be. So earlier this year, I went through another spiritual smackdown. It was towards the end of last year. I was so deep into this work, so deep into we create our own reality, and I was teaching people this information. I was teaching people to connect with their soul, and they were calling in their partners. They were having big success in their lives, in their businesses. They were having things happen. They were having quantum leaps, and I had many quantum leaps as well. But there were certain things not materializing in my life, and I was getting really, really frustrated with it. I was so attached to an outcome, so attached to what meaning that I was giving, that my partner hadn't come in yet, that my business hadn't gone to the successes that I wanted it to go to yet. I had become attached. My business had actually been working better at the start of my business because I was not attached to it. I was not attached to how's this going to work out. It was just kind of oh my God, and I'm going to put a reading out there and this is going to be fun. And then I'm going to put a program out there and then I'm going to do a group program. So it was non-attachment. But so when then I started putting expectations, as the ego likes to do, expectations onto how I think life should be, I started crumbling. And I had a massive crumbling in January, and it led me to come to Australia. And at that time that I came here, I was bawling, crying, booking the flight. I didn't want to come here. I thought my journey was done in Australia. I'd done Australia 16, 17 years ago. But my best friend lives here, and it was come to Australia. For years she's been come visit me. She didn't think she'd get me for this long, even though I went to Bali for a couple of months in between. But even though so many people were you're following your heart, and it was I'm not following my heart. I'm so broken. I have no other way, no other choice, but something within me, I still get emotional when I speak of this time, something within me was pulling me here, because the way I was doing things was not working. I was so attached, and I was so attaching to I'm a failure, which had been a pattern that was playing out throughout my life. I was attaching, making it mean something, that I hadn't accomplished certain external things. And me gripping onto them was just me pushing them away. So when I came on this journey deeper into my purpose, and I came to Australia, I literally met myself at new levels, at new depths. I healed myself at so many other levels, but I had massive, massive realizations of truth, realizations of who I am, realizations of who we all are. And then I got to bring it deeper and deeper into my work. Because I had lived a life for so long with depression, suicidal ideations, anxiety, the way my mind was conditioned, that when things went wrong, I automatically went to the place of, I want to check out of here. I don't want to be on this earth. And here is one of the, such a strange noise going off. Don't know what that is. Oh, it's a drill. A drill going on. I hope you can't hear it. I had gone through many seasons of that when my mind would bring myself to there. The last few years, it was like, no, I don't really want to. But I had an amazing reading with a gifted friend. And she had said to me at the time, you know, your soul originated from wherever, and that's a conversation for another day. And you just find it difficult to be on Earth. Earth is so dense. You find it difficult. You're always going to find it difficult here. So you need to stop beating yourself up about it. So I was like, okay. So that granted me peace. That really, really served me for a couple of years. And to be honest, it really served me for a couple of years, because when things got tough, I was like, that's fine. It's part of my mission. I came here to raise the consciousness of this earth. I want to rise people up. I want to help people. I don't want people to be living in fear. I don't want them to be depressed. I don't want them to feel suicidal. So that helped me for a while. And then it no longer helped me, because something else started speaking to me. That it was like, is that really true? Do you think that you're going to stay on this earth in suffering? Do you think that God put you here to suffer? To go help everyone else? To save the planet? It's not about saving the planet, it's about saving yourself. Because when you save yourself, when you come into this place of alignment, of truth, you can't help but to overflow onto other people. When we're all coming out self-righteous, I came here to raise the consciousness of the earth. I mean, I don't know why it turned into almost like a Bible singer there, or gospel singer, not that I can sing. But when we all come here in this righteous path, it's like, that's ego as well. Yes, I've no doubt that you came here with a big mission. No doubt about it. But when you do it from a place of truth, it's coming from a different energy. So when I saw this within me, when this came up within me, that it was kind of like, hang on a second, I don't think... I started having sprinklings of life is actually good. Life is good. I was starting to walk in nature and just be like, life is pretty fucking amazing. Maybe I am supposed to like it here. And then I had to go on a journey with that and actually see. And it was so wild, because I remember before I booked my ticket to Australia, I remember thinking I am in such a state of suffering. And there was I had whatever money I had, and I went, what if I just forgot about everything and just went with that money and went traveling or went to another country or whatever. And then this fear came in, and the fear was, because I was basically I can go traveling. What if I just go blow all that money and then I can just leave? Then I can just, I'm I don't want to say it. Then I can, end my life basically. What if I do that? How about it? Because, the ego will bring us into all these thoughts. And then something came in, and something was like, yeah, but what if you like it? What if you actually go, and what if you actually start enjoying life? And it was like, oh, there's a possibility that I could actually go and start enjoying life. I was like, what the hell? What the hell though if all my money is gone? And then it was like these little seeds of wow, I actually don't think that life is meant to be about suffering. I think I'm meant to go and enjoy life. And the more I enjoy my life, the more I can overflow onto other people. The more I connect back to myself. And I did so much healing in this very room, a lot of somatic practices, a lot of regulating my nervous system to feel safe in the here and now. Not to constantly chase for what is outside of me, not to constantly be like, I'll be okay when. I'll be okay when this happens, I'll be okay when that happens. Not about those things. It's about, I want to be okay now. And from this now moment, from the fullness of this now moment, everything else flows. It all flows from there. And then when I went to Bali, and Michelle, you're probably still in Bali. You know what Bali's like. Things come up. And boy, was I glad things came up. Things came up. And then I got to feel this level of aliveness that I've never felt before. And it was so beautiful, because I connected with myself at such a deeper way. And then I got to like embody that wisdom, bring it to my clients, bring it to the world. And it's just this journey. Your purpose is this journey of fulfillment for you, not outside of you. It's about realizing it's all within you. And when you come to this place of fullness within you, I am telling you, you can't help but attract things to you. Because you're coming from a place of, I am whole, I am complete. I need nothing outside of myself. And when you get to this realization, not from the mind is never going to get it. You don't have to get your mind on board with it. It's not about that. It is about feeling it within your body. Your mind will never get on board with some of these concepts. And it's funny because when I have these deep realizations, it's like conceptually speaking, I'm like, okay, I understand this, and this. And I play with it for a while. But it's almost like life shows me then either through an experience or through a meditation, through a practice with myself. It shows me so that I can know it in my body. Because it's never enough for me to know it in my mind. We think that we want to logically make sense of something, but it's not about that. Because you can logically make sense of something and you can speak it and you can say it, but it's completely different when you know it in your body. When you know it, this is what like aha moments are. When you get something and you're just like, oh, wow. Like, wow, I got it, but I didn't get it. Like I understood it, but I didn't understand it. Like it's like you can know something and be like, yeah, I know it. And then boom, life shows you something and you're like, oh wow, that means something completely different to me now. And this is why as well, when you work with the people that you're meant to work with, when you get the soul aligned hit to work with somebody, this is what it's coming from. You will get that deeper. When people come to work with me, even in readings, like I've had people being like, oh my goodness, I've had people say that to me, that exact same thing to me for years, but until you said it in that exact same way, I didn't understand it. And it's because somebody is meant to provide an activation within you. You're meant to hear it from that person in that exact time, in that exact minute. I know you've, like, let me know if you've had these experiences. I know you have, because we've all had them. Whether it's listening to a book, whether it's listening or reading a book, listening to a podcast, whatever it is, it's like that deep knowing within your body, within your being, that, oh my goodness. And this is why Expand, my program, which actually, if you're interested in Expand, the price rises at midnight tonight. This is like the tagline. When I first did Expand 2 years ago, I got, like, because I channel all my names, they all come through for me. So I got Expand, and I think the tagline came through another few days later, and it's a guided journey to activate your soul's remembrance. I did not realize the full meaning of that tagline probably until this year. I can't remember what I thought about it. I think I just thought, ooh, that sounds good. Whereas like this year, I'm like, oh my God, this is so perfect. This is a journey to activate your soul's remembrance. This is not about you learning more information. You already have enough information. Your mind doesn't need anything else to attach to. It doesn't. It's about you activating that part of you that's ready to come forward. And in the Expand journey, we do a lot of release work. To let go of who you thought you were, so that you can fully, when we clear the spaciousness, because a lot of times, and the Expand journey is literally like, it's a magical potion of like everything that I have embodied in my life. We go so deep into forgiveness, into inner child connection, and limiting beliefs, like completely reprogramming your mind. And then from that place, from what we can do from there, you access your intuition, you access certain gifts. People were so surprised by the end of the program. Well, they were like, my life has completely changed, number one, but they were so surprised with the level of intuition they had unlocked within themselves. Getting these downloads, getting like psychic knowings, getting like, whatever, getting information from source to make you move. Not to make you move as in a push force way, but make you move in alignment. And the reason why I'm like redoing recording the modules, and somebody said to me, a previous Expand member was like, I like, why are you changing anything? Like, I don't think you can make that program any better. It's the best program in the world. And I was like, there's just something in my soul that's saying, just make tweaks, re-record it, because the wisdom that I have embodied in the last 2 years has been so insane. So I want to bring more into Expand for an even better, more mind-blowing transformation. People that have gone on this journey in weeks 2, weeks 3, they're like, oh my God, everything has shifted. It doesn't have to shift for you in weeks 2 or weeks 3, but it will shift for you in that program. People have said to me that it's more, they got more out of it than 12 and 15 years personal development work. The reason why you get so much out of this is because we're working with your soul. So it's not just a program. There's integration tools. I do activations. A big part of the journey is my support with you as well. You get my coaching, my intuitive guidance, and my coaching is like freaking insane because I see your soul and I see your ego. I see both. I see where your soul is desiring you to go, and I see the limitations that are blocking you. And it's like, let's clear that and let's bring this forward. Let's bring your soul forward. Let's bring your higher self forward. And from that place, you move in alignment and things happen quickly. So if you have any questions, reach out to me about Expand. If you want to have a conversation on it, I'm here for it. I want to make sure that it's like the right fit, because I like to have my group spin like a beautiful group. But I've no doubt if you're still watching this, of course you've got a beautiful heart. Is there any questions about Expand, about my purpose, about your path to purpose? I just want to see if there's anything else I want to finish on pathway to purpose. I really just want to stress, and I think I've made this clear, follow your intuition. Follow those intuitive nudges. Your ego is going to come in. Like I said earlier, my ego came in when I did that course and that unlocked my intuitive gifts. My ego came in. It told me I wasn't ready. It told me I didn't have time. It told me I didn't have money. I didn't let those things stop me. I didn't let those thoughts stop me, because I believe that if something is meant for you, that you show up for it. You will show up. You will make the time. You will find the money. You will, when I started doing these courses, I was taking loans out for these courses. I'm not encouraging anybody to do it, but it's just kind of like this reminder of I freaking made it happen. When my intuition spoke to me, I was like, damn, this is happening. And I will find the time, and I will show up, and I will give it 100%. And it's from that place of true soul alignment, things just move. Things just slide into place. You meet the most amazing people. You have the most amazing connections. Things change, things move. But your soul is always guiding you. Trust your intuition. Trust that when you get a hit, to read a book, to listen to a podcast, to work with somebody, to go to a coffee shop, to go to the supermarket at a certain time, to do anything at a certain time, do it. Don't overthink. Do it. Don't overthink. Do it. Pathway to Purpose came through to me, as I said at the beginning, on a Thursday. This was the guidance. It was don't overthink, do it. Because when it came through to me, I was like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'll see about it next week. And it was don't think, do. Don't think, do. When I reached out to Shule and Nadia, they were absolutely, we're on it. Let's go. And I don't know what Pathway to Purpose is going to be. Part of me is feeling that it could be a YouTube. So I'm going downloading these. I have not, or I'm going to probably upload them to YouTube, but maybe I'll start a podcast. I'm not really sure, but it's don't think, do. When we become, and like I said earlier, when we become attached to something, if I was to become attached to Pathway to Purpose, it's going to be a podcast, and it's going to be a #1 podcast, and blah, 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 blah. I get attached and I'd muddy up the energy, because the energy for Pathway to Purpose is pure. The energy for Pathway to Purpose is for you to listen to other people speak, to listen to other people who are living into their purpose. And most of all, for you to trust yourself, for you to go against the demands of the ego, and for you to actually live fully into who you're meant to be, who you came here to be. Because you did not come here to live in the confines of the ego, to be bound by the lack, by the limitation. Because there's something within you that knows that there's more available to you. Will you trust that? Can you trust that? And even if you don't trust in it fully, can you take the leap even when fear is present? This is a big thing when I work with people, that they're like, oh my God, but I have so much fear. And I'm like, I get it. The very first time I ran a free session, I felt sick. The very first time, if you go back to the beginning of my Instagram, way back there, I put up other people's quotes. I did not show my face. I was terrified. I went under a few different names. I didn't put my own name out there. The first time I did a reel, I was terrified. The first time, I didn't do lives until, I want to say November last year. So I'm only doing lives like about a year. And like, to me, that's like mind blowing because I love doing lives. Freaking love doing lives. And when a mentor said it to me a couple of years ago, I think I challenged you to do lives. I was like, no, I feel sick. I feel like I want to throw up. So when I work through things within my nervous system, then I got to, and this is a big thing of the work I do, is like, let's work through things within your nervous system. Then fear will still be present, but can you walk with that fear? And when you walk with that fear, eventually it doesn't become a fear anymore. You might find that you might actually enjoy it. If somebody had said to me a year ago, you'll love showing up on Instagram lives, I'd be like, no way, not a chance. I want to puke. I want to throw up. And now I'm like, ooh. Some days I go through phases of going live every day, and I might have nobody watching, or I could have 10 people watching, and it's like one person watching. It's like, this is an internal game. This is what it's like to lead with frequency, to not let what's happening in the external world determine what's going on inside you. Because if I was to start giving meaning, like the amount of Instagram lives that I've done that I could have come off because there was nobody watching, I mean, I probably wouldn't be here today. It's kind of like, can you have the willingness that even when the external circumstances don't seem to be matching up to what you want, what you're attaching to, that doesn't mean it's not working. If anything, that's just a sign for you to keep going, because it will shift for you. So it's been beautiful hanging out with you. I hope this has given you some inspiration to follow your intuition, follow those intuitive nudges, to live into your purpose. Follow the curiosity. Your purpose isn't going to, or it's not about your purpose, but like, as your purpose is to know thyself, but the thing that you're looking to do, say if you're looking to create a business, it's not going to land in front of you. It's about following the breadcrumbs, starting someplace. Because you don't know how it's going to evolve. So many people got caught up in, yeah, but I want to do this one exact thing. But I encourage you, start someplace. When you start someplace, it will lead you there. I have no doubt about it. So follow the breadcrumbs. Thank you for joining me live. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. And if you caught the replay, let me know. And if anyone has any questions, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you.